Is Nintendo Switch Online worth the $20 that it costs? Well, you need to play multiplayer games online, so if that's what you want to do, then you have no choice. The real gem for me is the NES games that it comes with. It's 20 games at launch, and it looks like there'll be 3 games a month for at least the rest of this year. This is incredible for any longtime fan of Nintendo or retro game lover. And if you aren't one of those, maybe you need some help figuring out which ones are worth playing. Because there's a lot here, but there are some gems that you need to try for yourself. You'll have them on your Switch after all. Nintendo is producing NES controllers that slide in where the Joy-Con go for charging. This is a neat little novelty, but these controllers don't work for any other games on the Switch, and you need a Switch Online subscription to even purchase them. This is presumably to cut down on scalping. It's $60 for a 2-pack, which is a reasonable price considering you're getting 2, but what if you only want 1? Well, you can try to find the out-of-production NES 30 by 8-bit Do like I have right here, but there is a newer version that's just under $30. The best deal is a 2-pack for $40, but that kind of defeats the purpose. Of course, I'd recommend the SNES 30 Pro if you don't have one already, because that's a good all-around controller for the Switch. But if you want that NES authenticity, the NES 30 or N30 are great too. So is the NES 30 Pro. This isn't sponsored. 8-Bit Do didn't ask me to do this, but there are Amazon affiliate links in the description below if you're interested. They help support this channel. I'm going to rank the 20 launch games starting from the worst so you can get a general idea of all of the games that you're getting. Right off the bat, all of the sports games are pretty terrible. It feels a little bit like how the Magnavox Odyssey came with like 4 different versions of Pong. The only difference between them was slapping a different overlay over the top of your TV. Soccer is by far the worst, followed by tennis, which is a sad departure from today's tennis games. Baseball has nothing to it. You get different types of pitches and just about everything else is on autopilot. Ice hockey feels a lot better than the rest, so I'd suggest giving that a try over soccer. Pro wrestling is fun in novelty alone, otherwise it's just incredibly frustrating like a lot of other wrestling games. Tecmo Bowl is by far the most fun sports game. It definitely feels and looks the best, but you need a basic knowledge of football in order to have a good time, and that's just not something that I have, so I'm out. Most of the reason that these sports games are even included in Switch Online is because of the addition of online multiplayer. I'm sure some of these games would be fun to play with a friend. The frustration could make for a fun time, but ultimately they're all entirely unremarkable. Skip all of them. You'd think with a name like Yoshi, we'd be getting a sick action platformer. Well, you'd be very wrong because this is a boring puzzle game. And I mean really boring. There are 4 rows, and you have to flip the bottom of the rows to match the columns as blocks fall. You can't match sideways, you have to match the columns. It's agonizing. Yoshi does nothing in this game. I have no idea why it's called that. This game is a shame because it's the only taste of Yoshi we get on the NES. There is a multiplayer, but it's the same shit. This is the NES version of the Donkey Kong arcade game. Because of hardware limitations, they removed the cutscenes that you saw in the arcade version, and they removed the conveyor belt level, which is significant because there was only 4 levels to begin with. Now there's 3. Also, everything's a little stretched out on the screen. Otherwise, it's a fine port. This game is great for novelty. It's the first time we ever got to play as the now famous Mario. As a game, though, it's hard to recommend over the other great games being offered. It feels like an Atari game more than an NES game. It controls very poorly. A lot of early games are like this, so it's not the game's fault. But it's not my problem either. Play it for novelty, otherwise skip it. Dr. Mario is like a version of Puyo Puyo Tetris. The object is to get rid of the viruses, not to clear the whole screen like you might be used to. There's also multiplayer where you can race a friend, but in the grand scheme of everything the NES has to offer, again, why would you play this one? Another arcade classics game, not to be confused with Super Mario Bros. Mario Bros has you knocking shell creepers from underneath, then kicking them while they're down. It controls better than its arcade classics counterpart, but it ain't no Super Mario Bros. I think this is another case where the game was only included for its novelty and to show off Switch Online's multiplayer. I think it's only worth playing briefly with a friend. I have fond memories of playing Balloon Fight multiplayer. It's the same as the single player, just with an extra person. But be careful, because you can pop your friend's balloons, unless that's exactly what you want to do. The floaty physics make this game a lot of fun for a quick session, and you can certainly cause a lot of yelling amongst your friends. There's another game mode that has you navigating through obstacles, but it's not nearly as fun. Although I enjoy Balloon Fight, I don't think it's an entirely necessary game to try out. Ice Climber, not to be confused with Ice Climbers, is pretty good. It's like an endless tower climbing game. It controls well for a game that came out in 1985, and the hazards aren't frustrating. If you die, it's your fault. The multiplayer is a great selling point here. I like when the multiplayer is the same as the single player, just with both players playing at the same time. So this is one to try out with a friend for sure, especially if you want to know where the Ice Climbers came from. Excitebike is a Nintendo staple. You might have seen it poking around as a trophy in Smash Bros., or maybe you saw its influence in Labo. I think it's a great game. It feels like the current Trials games, but obviously more dumbed down. There are 2 modes, time trial and a race against CPU players. You have to kind of ride the ramps and make sure you land with both wheels flat on the ground so you don't bounce around and slow yourself down. It's actually pretty fun. There's even a map editor so you can create your own maps. It ain't no Mario Maker, but keep in mind, this is an NES game. In fact, it was one of the worldwide launch titles. I think it's a great game, despite what Jason Schreier of Kotaku said for seemingly no reason. Maybe he didn't get how it worked? There is no multiplayer, so you won't be playing this one with a friend. Gradius is an early addition to the shmup genre. Shmups are known for being very hard and pretty brutal, but at least this one has moderately forgiving checkpoints. Once you're out of lives though, that's it, you're done. It's a good game, I recommend checking it out, but you probably won't be playing too much of it unless you're an insane person. The multiplayer is the take-turn style, so don't even bother. Double Dragon is a great beat-em-up. Will loves this series. Now you might be thinking, Double Dragon, oh, I can play 2 players on the same screen. Wrong! This is another one of those take-turn situations. It wasn't until Double Dragon 2 that we got actual co-op, but this isn't Double Dragon 2, this is Double Dragon 1. There is a game mode that turns the game into a fighting game, but that's the most multiplayer you'll be getting out of this game. Anyway, it's a pretty good single-player game, I'm just giving it sass. It makes the most out of the 2 buttons it has by giving you the ability to punch, kick, regular jump, pick up weapons. The boss fights are even creative. Check it out, it's worth checking out. A side-scrolling spooky game where you have to fight your way through graveyards and other spooky places to rescue your kidnapped girlfriend. Yeah? Ghosts and Goblins is a good example of what early NES games are capable of. It's a 2D side-scrolling action platformer that lets you shoot projectiles at enemies. Swarms and swarms of enemies. It's notoriously hard as hell. Don't expect to get past even the first part too easily. I myself gave up very quickly, and I am amazing at games. Aside from its insane difficulty, I think it's definitely worth a play. The multiplayer, again, is a take-turns multiplayer, and that's no fun, so play it by yourself. By the way, Switch Online allows you to play any of these games with a friend. That means you can give the controls over to somebody else via online, or you can have them use a cursor to show you things that you're missing, where to go, stuff like that. River City Ransom is the better brawler on the NES. It might look a bit cuter than Double Dragon, but it controls slightly better, and thanks to the more simplified graphics, it allows for 2-player co-op on the same screen. So this will be a great addition for Switch Online. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same as Double Dragon. There is a currency and upgrade system that sets it apart. You can store health items in your inventory or purchase upgrades that let you do things like punch really fast. It's definitely worth checking out, and if you're looking for a great multiplayer game, this might be the best one Switch Online has to offer. This game was so good that Robin Williams named his daughter after it. The original Legend of Zelda set the tone for the rest of the series that you probably love. Honestly, a lot went unchanged in later games. Your A button is your sword, and your B button is your special item that can be swapped out on the pause screen. The whole world is yours. You can fight any dungeon in any order. You can get all of the heart containers first if you want. You'll need a walkthrough lest you waste your days wandering around this pixelated world. It's a pretty tough game, but if you're a fan of the Legend of Zelda series and you've never given this game a try, I implore you to give it a shot. Hopefully in the future, Switch Online will give you a chance to try out its far superior Super Nintendo successor. But for now, I think it's very important that you play this piece of history. No, there is no multiplayer in this one unless you want someone to walk you through it, so it was presumably included solely for how good of a single-player game it is. My favorite game of all time, number 2. I bumped it to number 2. That's how much I care about you. I put this at number 2. I love it for its simplicity, the way the game subtly teaches you how to play without saying a word. It's the easiest game on this list to just pick up and play. There's a lot you can do here. You can play the game very linearly and defeat the enemies one at a time to get from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen without dying, or you can find secret power-ups and shortcuts. Sometimes it's even more rewarding than beating a level. Try to beat the whole thing as normal, then go back and find some secrets to make the game faster. Unfortunately, it only has take turns multiplayer. Mario wouldn't get co-op in a mainline title until the Wii. The original Super Mario Bros. Came with nearly every NES console, but if you didn't grow up with one, then this is a must-play. But not nearly as much of a must-play as this next title. Not my personal favorite Mario Bros. Game on the NES, but it's clearly the better option. Super Mario Bros. 3 improves the Mario formula drastically. This game pushed the NES to its absolute limits. It's by far the best looking game on the platform. It also controls better. The jumping physics work better. There's so much more to explore in these different themed worlds. Of course, you could also just beeline it for the end if you uncover all of the shortcuts. There's even a primitive inventory system that allows you to power up before a level. This might be the best NES game, period. It's certainly the best Switch Online has to offer. Unfortunately, again, it has take turns multiplayer, but as a single player experience, it can't be beat. Hell, I'd pay $20 for this game alone. If you've never played an NES Mario game and you can only play one, this is the one to play. Obviously, I recommend playing the original first so you can truly appreciate both. There's some debate online whether or not Super Mario Bros. 3 is better than Super Mario World, its Super Nintendo successor. I think both sides have some valid arguments. I think Super Mario World refines the formula a little bit more, but you have to give Super Mario Bros. 3 a lot of credit for even being able to compete with such superior hardware. Every Switch Online owner owes it to themselves to check this one out, no matter how old you are, no matter how you were raised, no matter what games you played as a child, maybe you still are a child, go and play this game. If you got it on your Switch, why the hell not? And that's not all, that's just the games that we're getting at launch. In October, we're not really getting anything good, but in November, we're getting Metroid, which is also one of the best games that the NES has to offer. In December, we'll be getting Ninja Gaiden, or what I used to call Ninja Gaiden. This is a must-play if you're a fan of the Switch game The Messenger or games like it. There's plenty of great stuff coming our way. This is a great collection of games, and I understand that not all of you are NES fans, so this doesn't exactly justify forcing you to pay $20 a year to play multiplayer games online, but I'm happy with the offering. If you aren't an NES fan and you're still getting Switch Online, check out the games that I just recommended to you. You might as well, you're paying for them anyway. So what do you guys think about these NES games that we just got, or Switch Online in general? Are you passing for some reason? Are you happy with what we're getting? Leave it in the comments below, at me on Twitter, and all of this other social media garbage. Don't forget to check out Wulff Den Apparel if you have not. I love this shirt, and I'm being biased, but if it's not the goddamn most comfortable shirt that you've ever worn, then I'll change my name to Bob. That's all I got. We got new videos here all the time. Our schedule's in a pinned tweet over on our Twitter or in our top bar on YouTube. We got live streams on Sundays where we play games. We got live streams on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern time where it's our podcast. We talk to you guys. We got a nice community we got growing here. And there's also twitch.tv/WolfDen twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. We play games over there. If you want to support the channel, you got Amazon Prime, Twitch Prime. You can hook us up there. Link it to your Discord account. Again, that supporters only Discord. Get these videos early. And some other videos that we'll have later. But forget all of that because the most important things that you can do is just subscribe to the channel. That's free. And share this video with a friend, another friend that you want to play some of these Switch Online games with, or maybe you want to get them hooked on some NES games. Thank you guys very much. You have yourselves a very good week. Woo!